Tag Show.
The Mixed Tag Show.
With Jenna and Blue.
Damn.
Now, here's your host, Jenna and Blue Magic.
Yeah.
Is that how we really gonna start the show?
We started all the time when I... Hold on. Just gotta put on this jacket.
I thought you said you were ready.
I thought I was, but then I realized...
You're cold?
Yeah. Well, not that I'm cold, because it gets pretty hot in here, but, like...
It's getting hot in here.
It's, like, part of my thing. You done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want to say the next part. It's kind of weird.
A little bit. Anyway, hey, you're listening and watching the Mixed Tag Show with Jenna and Blue.
Yes.
Blue. Enchanté.
Le Bleu.
I just said that.
Le Bleu.
I just said that.
Bleu.
I just said that. So how was your week, Bleu?
It was pretty good. Yesterday I got back in the gym.
Yes.
It was my first day
Wow,
back.
that was a really like excited reaction.
It was like I was.
Yeah.
I felt so good being back in the gym. Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I missed it. Don't chew the gum on the mic. So I didn't realize how much I missed it.
You don't have your own
Headphones. Yeah.
I thought maybe you would just like
wing it.
Yeah, see how it is. Because we're doing it a little bit different today, so, but I guess not.
Nah, I have to have headphones on.
Okay.
But yeah, so I went back to the gym and I really enjoyed it. And I didn't realize how much I missed it. And, did basketball for cardio.
Face the camera a little bit.
I mean, I did,
Show off your stuff, man.
We'll get to that. Did some basketball for cardio because LA Fitness got basketball courts. Psh, what?
I bust your ass.
Nah, you don't want that. You want the sauce. You don't want the sauce. You don't want that.
What sauce?
You don't want that. You ain't see my jumper?
No, I didn't see
you see the story?
Today?
Yeah. That
I'll check
jumper
right
is... I still got that. I gotta get my cardio up.
I'm sure.
But yeah, it was a pretty good week for me. How about you?
Oh, here goes your story. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I took my son to the park on Saturday.
Did you?
Liberty Park.
Yeah, how was that?
It was very fun.
It's not loading, so I can't watch it. Remind me to then see how your jump shot is.
Yeah, it was like a play date
kind
of thing. We had a nice little weekend.
What? Sorry, I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm just getting back into my, my hooping days.
Right.
What do you mean, right? I used to be on the girls' basketball team in high school.
Okay.
Right. Like, I'm telling a lie. Listen, I'm tired of people, like, questioning me about basketball. I have people come at me about my fandemonium. Is that my fandom for the Warriors?
Oh my God! How heartbreaking it for us. For
the Knicks fans. Listen, this is why you have to have a second team.
You do. Yeah, I've learned that. That's why I be rooting for OKC. But OKC is like a second coming of the Knicks.
Not necessarily.
Not as bad. Not as
bad.
But yeah,
it's not. I don't know, but I guess top 3 isn't bad.
No, it's not.
And people are like, oh well, now it forces teams to not like tank purposely.
Yeah.
But still, you telling me a team? How much did the Pelicans won last year, and still got the number 1 pick? That's not fair.
Yeah, they're trying to keep AD over there.
Even if it was
it's rigged. And how the Lakers got number 5 or
4?
4?
Yeah.
Like what? They just got LeBron. How the heck they get?
Imagine, listen. Like if you were to lower the chances, at least maybe 20%.
Right.
14%.
Right.
I thought we had it though. I was like, yo, when I saw
the
Suns and the Cavs were the other ones that had them, I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
It was no way. And sure enough, the basketball guys were like,
nah.
You thought wrong, Knicks fans.
Nah, we're forever
cursed.
Yeah.
Until Dolan skedaddles.
Yeah.
Anyway,
how was your week?
That was my week, basically. I've been in basketball mode, because throughout the season, wrestling has occupied my time in regards to sports, but I'm going to get back into sports even when the season starts because wrestling, or WWE specifically, has not warranted me to, stray away from sports with the the bad shows and what have you. So I need to get
Plus
back on
Sasha's
that.
not there.
Don't put me on blast like that. Don't do that. Do it. I haven't heard Boss Time in like in a month. Do it.
No, we did it last week.
Boss time!
Yeah, but you know, like the full entrance. I can't believe WrestleMania. That was the last time.
You'll hear it. It's boss time.
You didn't even hear that. Just the music, and it wasn't even the full. Lord.
All right.
Anyway,
nice shirt you got on.
thank you. This is the. Do it.
Where is he? I put all of them in there.
The big dog!
The big dog. Roman Reigns tank tops that they had last year, so you know it's a little bit warmer out.
Yeah.
And you know he had a little nice week, I guess, with just on both shows. So
Did he?
yeah, from what I saw, yeah.
Okay.
He was featured on both shows, so
If you want to cop that nice tee that she has
you
on,
probably can't get this anymore.
or
due to the
something
fact-
similar. They coming out with some new summer joints
soon.
Soon. I already see they did the patriotic shirts.
Yeah, for
That's
the 4th
out right
of
now.
July.
For
So
4th of July, you go ahead and cop that at the WWE shop. Click the link
don't
in
you
our
ever cut me
bio.
off again, I'll cut you.
I'm trying to help. I'm trying
The
to.
WWE shop, get our link, help us get some coins at our personal pages at
Blue Magic Grind. Still how to sound. Or at,
Bleh Magic Grind, or at Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE, or at the Mixed Tag Show, or
you can click in the link right there in the
if
description.
you're watching this video
on
currently.
YouTube.
Yeah. So
Help us get our coins up.
yeah, TBH.
Yeah, I'm not wearing any WWE merch.
Who got you that?
You did for my birthday. I decided I could wear this one time before I can't wear it again.
Slow your horses, buddy. But yes, exactly. What was I gonna say?
Next
Looks
up.
good. Looks good.
Thank you.
I gotta get mine now. See,
Double Nothing is next week? Yeah.
I sacrificed my own merch to get you merch.
Oh. Double or Nothing is next week.
You just said that.
I'm going to be at the graduation. Nah.
I'm gonna be at Double or Nothing.
So for people that don't
I'm
know.
about to be in Vegas.
Ah.
I'm about to be in Vegas.
This is something.
My face look full.
I'm
Actually,
actually-
I started working out too, cause you know last month I slacked and I got sick, and you know my back is always on my back. So I was eating crazy last week.
Oh, June 1st, I'll go with Presbyterian.
Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to like salmon and stuff.
I actually tried salmon yesterday.
And it wasn't bad, was it?
It tastes like crab meat.
What's wrong with crab meat?
Nothing. There's
Okay,
nothing wrong with it.
see?
But it just I look out for bones, I guess.
We'll
I was told.
Well, then get the ones that are boneless.
I'll look into it.
Listen, salmon, the joint, you season it with some
I
adobo.
heard it was pretty good yesterday. My cousin's mom made some.
All this time. See, I hate people like you.
I just took one bite. I didn't like.
No.
I didn't have like a whole.
That's
salad.
fine. I know.
I ate up
I
somebody
hate
else's
people
plate.
like you. Like, oh, I don't like how it smells, or I don't like how it looks. I don't like it.
And it's not that. I just never ate fish. Like when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I
but
tried it
every
one
time I
and
told, every time I told you, oh, you made a face.
then-
You
I
gave
just
me
be
the
messing with you.
emoji. Put it right here. The sick emoji.
I just be messing with you. Collar and elbow. Make sure you use our code name TMTS, which stands for T makes the same.
Womp, womp, womp. Oh, look, there goes. No, that jumper.
So hell ever with collar and elbow, street fashion meets. What is?
You guys want to see his? Can you,
I'll if you want, I'll put it right here.
they don't want it. It's
Nah,
all
I'm gonna
right.
put it there
Yeah,
now
it's
because
all
they
right.
want to see. They see the wet.
Good for you. Look
Look
at
at- yeah.
your boy out here.
Now I'm not putting all that. They could go to my story.
That's
after next-
fine, but the boy
go back
out
to-
here,
Yeah.
the boy out here, he about to wrestle in Saudi Arabia against
Nah. And now on to the Dick's Mixed Tag Show Fantasy Season 3.
There's currently no update because Blue felt that we'll give it to you next week.
Yeah.
I did finish half of it. I just needed NXT, but
Yeah.
bruh.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, guys. We haven't been what's the word?
There's only
Consistent.
two of us. We're trying to run the whole empire.
Blue takes care of other things. I try to do the points, and it's hard. We got lives.
Right.
Know what I mean?
Definitely.
Oh
On
my
to your
God, we
show.
should work out together. You want to do kickboxing with me?
That means I have to drive to Bronx every day.
The Bronx.
Yeah, you said by your house.
Where do I live?
Queens. Well, I say the Bronx. Oh, because I was reading that article
Cancel.
about the Bronx.
This show is over. I gotta go.
All right.
Seriously, I gotta go
I
because
don't
like
blame you.
why would you?
I don't blame you.
I told you don't care about me. Anyway, I think we did enough rambling.
Yeah, onto your show. Did you watch any? I'll be honest, I didn't watch anything this week.
So we talked about it.
I seen clips and stuff. I read about it.
I read the spoilers, and this is the first time since I've ever, like, in regards to like the regular shows, that I've watched. I mean, that I've looked at the spoilers, like willingly went and looked for spoilers. I never do because I just I want to watch it. No matter if it's taped, I want to watch it. When SmackDown was airing on Fridays, even though it was being recorded on Tuesdays, I avoided the spoilers and watched it. Right? This is the first time I'm not doing it. One, because no disrespect to any UK fans that listens or watches the show, it's a different vibe.
I like their vibe.
Last year, their vibe was...
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, this year, I didn't really watch it, so I don't know. It looked like the crowd was a little bit more lively. But besides that, and not necessarily their vibe, but it's just when they're overseas, it's different. Like, I don't know. It's weird for me. So I didn't care to watch. And on top of that, the WWE doesn't deserve my viewership, honestly.
Plus, it's playoffs.
And it's playoffs. So
and that Golden State and
I gotta watch my
game.
Golden State Warriors, and let it be known, I've been rocking with the Golden State Warriors since the 2012-2013 season when Mark Jackson was still the head coach, and I was like, you know what, this team is gonna be a problem. Sure enough, what happened? The team became a problem. I was a fan of Steph Curry before anybody knew who Steph Curry was. Why? Because in 2007, I went to Davidson, and they took us to a basketball game. And
he was up there putting shots up.
Missing them. And I was like, yo, he sucks. After halftime, they missed not one 3-pointer again. I was like, who's number 30? I almost went to Davidson. But I was like, do I want to be in rural North Carolina? I'm from New York, son. I don't know if I can deal with that rural life. So, whatever. He was supposed to come to the Knicks. The Warriors snatched it up. I'm like, damn you, Warriors. Then the irony, I became a fan. You want to see this picture real quick, and then we'll get back to the show?
Sure. Which picture is it?
Show you. This is a nice picture I took of myself.
Okay.
Sorry. Look, so I had to screenshot. This is, with the old portable cameras.
Yeah. What?
That's the game.
What arena is this?
There's the Wildcats Arena in Davidson.
Oh, okay.
You see, if you look closely, you see number 30, do you?
Yeah, I see him.
A young Stephen Curry. See?
Okay.
Here's the facts, son.
Text it to me so they can see it too.
Who's Texas?
I said text it to me so they could see it too.
Hot. Maybe I shouldn't have put on this jacket. Anyway, it's my look. Anyway, so I really didn't watch Raw. I went over the spoilers. There wasn't much to go over. I just threw in couple of things to briefly talk about. The first segment that kind of piqued my interest, and that's not saying much.
Can we talk about this last? I don't want to start off with this,
but that's the order of the show.
Go ahead.
If you have a valid reason as to why we should,
because it's gonna be a long discussion because it's very
for you. Okay. So we'll go to the second one that I have.
Okay.
The best thing that's happening for WWE right now is currently Bray Wyatt's
second. Kofi's still champion.
But that's it's kind of like Becky's reign. It's like,
nah, man.
It's not. Listen. Put the fist emoji up.
I'm here.
But it's like, but you can't tell me his feud currently with Kevin Owens is as hot as. Leading up to Daniel Bryan.
It's not because, of course, there's more history behind that. And that is something that he finally conquered. But they're doing pretty good between them two, in my opinion.
I'm not saying they're not doing good, but
nothing's gonna touch that.
And at this point, it's like I'm blinded right now when the whole product is not good. It's like I don't care, and it's
but
unfortunate.
I still say at least two good things.
All right. Stop yelling. With that said, the second best, or at least the best thing on Raw right now. Let's say that.
Okay.
Is Bray Wyatt's character. So we have a new twist to the new Firefly Funhouse. Just real creepy and demonic new look What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, this is like in Bray's wheelhouse. As we kept seeing, the Mr. Rogers persona, we was like, nah, this ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a darker tone to it. How he kept looking at the camera like, let me in. And like the kids, like we said last week.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I like it. I hope he wrestles with the mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just keeps it on. Because one of the parents actually complained that it scared their kid. And it's like, yo, this is... Undertaker used to scare me when I was younger.
Yeah.
Kane used to scare me. So...
I'm on the
let him rock.
I'm on the fence about him wrestling in a mask. I would like him to use the mask just for like to freak people out, not necessarily wrestle in a mask. However, besides that, I love it. I actually read something. The person that helped design it, it was too much to type, and I was being lazy. But it was just pretty cool that Bray's super excited about this character, and felt that the guy that helped him create the mask helped
create some legendary.
No, just like revitalize his career, because Bray, they weren't using him. He was stale and what have you. So I think that's really good. My only fear, and I was thinking about this when I was like typing the notes. Anytime WWE gets like lightning in a bottle, they mess it up, right? They'll drop the ball some way, somehow. It's kind of like when you think of what was the most recent thing, Becky, right? Becky was on fire. They really could have utilized this into this year,
right?
But it's falling flat. Like, Becky's still dope, but it's not like what it was when she first, revealed the man, right? Or like even Rusev Day, right? How hot was everybody on Rusev Day? And then they until the last minute they wanted to capitalize on it, right?
Yeah.
So I just feel like, I just hope this is not one of the other many things that's going well for the WWE, and then they mess it up by either making it too cheesy or just something.
Or making them lose too many matches.
Losing too many matches, or it just runs its course some way, somehow, and they don't make it fresh, So that's my fear in regards to that.
And also, the person that created the mask was actually Tom Savini, who's created a few horror masks and like movies in general.
Nice.
So they really went out, was like, yo, we got to get somebody professional to do this. So, and he explained how he went through behind it. He did some of the best work for Friday the 13th, Night of the Living Dead franchise. So, yeah, I'm glad he got behind that.
Not only that, like, this is my last point in regards to this. I like that actual wrestler or superstar, whatever, took control of their character. It wasn't something that was fed to them by creative. Like, no, this is what I want to do. This is like what's in my head and what I'm thinking, and it comes off authentic, right?
Yeah.
And that's why people were able to gravitate to it immediately, right? So
definitely.
This is not too big. I just, in regards to Sami Zayn replacing Braun Strowman in the Money in the Bank match, I didn't put this in Hot Topics, but apparently Braun is injured again.
Yeah.
So I think that's the whole reason why they removed it. But
they said it wasn't part of the reason. It's just more.
Oh, I didn't read the article. I just read the headline.
They said it wasn't like, even though he's hurt, he's still able to still wrestle. So it didn't play a part to him losing his spot.
Got it.
I think it's more so like they don't know what to do with him right now.
Besides that, I like the move because, again,
Sammy needed something.
How many times we say this, or at least I've said this in regards to Money in the Bank. It should be participants that don't have necessarily the capability like others,
right,
to win a world championship match, right, or have that title match. This Sami Zayn's that perfect person. He's a heel. Heels always make better like Money in the Bank holders.
And he always comes up short.
So that's a perfect, and he's a good heel right now. So that was more so what I wanted to talk about.
And I agree. Braun, to me, when he was Monster in the Bank, didn't really do well
at all. They dropped the ball.
And they dropped the ball because he actually announced that he wanted to wrestle because he's not gonna use a cheap way to. But that's the point of the Money in the Bank. Like, you just said, nah, I'm just gonna do it my way. Granted, Cena did it, and it didn't work for him either.
Yeah.
When he tried to cash in. Who was it? Was it RVD? Was that one? No, that wasn't RVD. I forgot who it was, but it didn't work for him either.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like
Barrett Corp. Well,
no.
In regards to, I thought you meant just cashing
when
announcing it in advance.
Yeah,
I can't remember the other person.
Wait, did Cena win Money in the Bank?
Yeah, he was Money in the Bank, but I think he was the first one to lose it though.
Yeah, he was the first one that didn't cash in properly.
Exactly.
And I can't remember who he said like I'm gonna challenge you at this pay-per-view, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Braun, to me, ladder matches, I want to see high flying. I want to see risk taking. I want to see high bumps.
Right.
Braun is not gonna take no high bumps.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I was perfectly fine with this.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one, Nikki Cross finally spotted.
So obviously, a lot of people on Twitter were like up in arms because we've been waiting to see Nikki. We've been wanting to play with Nikki. No one's wanted to play with her, right? And now we finally see her. She just looks complete. I was like, who is this girl? Like completely tamed. Hair was like
neat.
Like she basically had makeup on. You know, it was, and it just, I don't know.
They saying that they're trying to probably think about doing a character change for her, which I really hope that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it would have been dope. It'd be dope if they go this route, where they're trying to make Nikki be best friends with Bliss, and like Bliss trying to girly her up, and then she turn on Bliss, and I think that would be pretty awesome. I don't know if that's the route they're going. I just don't like the way they're making it seem as if she's Bliss's lackey. Why does Bliss always need a lackey?
Well, not even, and I just think I thought about it too again, like when I was typing this up, and I'm just thinking like, how many people has Alexa Bliss actually put over, in the sense of it at the end of whatever their program was, they look good towards the end of it, right? Because I thought about all her feuds, and like. When she first, it was like her and Becky, right? Becky ultimately, her first title run was trash, right? Then it was the whole thing with Mickie James on SmackDown, I believe it was. Yep. Mickie didn't do much from it. Mm-hmm. Then coming off of Raw, it completely ruined Bayley's momentum, whatever momentum Bayley had.
Yep. Then ruined Sasha's moment.
Exactly. I mean, again, with Sasha, it was like just she's still a popular figure, so she was able to like weather this, rebounded, but in the sense of it didn't do anything for her. Right. So all these programs that they have Alexa do with others, and I'm not putting it all on her.
I think the only one that actually did something was Nia Jax.
Yeah, but in the sense, but Nia was like, it writes itself like, oh, you're being bullied because of your weight and what have you. And then ultimately, after all of that, Nia had her WrestleMania moment, but then
she turned heel.
Not even that she turned heel, but then Alexa Bliss ultimately still got the title back. So you just showed that, bullies are gonna overcome regardless.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Like, the whole point is to elevate your coworker, and I'm not saying her specifically, but just the stuff that they put her in, it never
pans
out for the other person.
It don't.
So, I don't have a rating for Raw.
I don't have a rating for Raw.
And I don't think you even attempted.
No, I didn't. I was like, to be honest, after I watched the playoffs, I was watching Best of Super Junior weeks because I've been like seeing like small matches and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and I was watching Attack on the Titan. Shout out to you anime fans, even though I'm like a fake anime fan because I just got into it, but
I'm still new.
I was hooked on that. Anyway, I have really nothing to discuss about on SmackDown. There was a good fatal 4-way match, but whatever.
Andrade won. Shout out to my boy Andrade.
Yes, but besides that, the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I sent it to you. I sent it to to Undisputed, and we're like, oh, please.
Adam Cole and them, you sent it to?
No, my Undisputed.
Oh, okay.
G and L's. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, I don't know how to do this. But then come to find out, Paige revealed that it was Asuka and Kairi Sane's idea. Some people still, I don't know, people really like trying to buy into it.
Mm-hmm. Buy in that it was their idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I believe Asuka gave the meaning behind it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
But some people felt offended, I guess. I don't know enough information about this, so I can't, you know what I'm saying, if this is a bad idea or what.
I mean, before I knew that it was their idea, I was like, wait, I hope it's not them typical WWE, like a stereotypical, like, okay, Japanese. But ultimately, it was their idea. So if that was their idea.
But how come they get to use Warriors Ember Moon get to be the War Princess, but War Raiders can't be War Raiders.
Listen,
What's going
you
on
asking
here?
the wrong person. I didn't rate SmackDown.
I didn't rate SmackDown. The people didn't have a rating for SmackDown.
So we're gonna breeze through this quickly because we have hot topics and we got a little bit more to discuss.
Right.
So we're gonna talk about Money in the Bank. It is this Sunday.
Is it this Sunday?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually gonna head to Connecticut.
It's also, huh?
I'm gonna head to Connecticut.
Oh, you going?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you litty. Oh, G's also going. So maybe you'll link up with G out there. I decided not to go because it's the last episode of Game of Thrones, and I'm not missing that.
Tatiana told me the same thing. Whatever.
I'm not missing this last. Listen, I am not missing this last episode.
That's what.
For
That's
anybody.
That's what On Demand is for.
Nah. See, WWE kind of might have an issue here because real Game of Thrones fans are not missing this last episode.
I hear that's the case.
So I don't know if they're prepared for this. Did you buy your tickets already?
No, I haven't.
You're gonna get great prices.
I know.
Because
I know.
nobody's gonna try to miss. Because this is it. We've been waiting for this for how long? Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion.
We just talking about everything today, huh?
I don't that's So I'll probably watch Money in the Bank after that. After people leave my house, because I do watch parties for Game of Thrones. So yeah.
Boo.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, Money in the Bank predictions, right? So we have The Miz versus Shane McMahon. Who do you have?
I'll say Miz.
Okay. I'm going to go with Miz too because y'all. Alrighty. Roman Reigns versus Elias. I'm going to go with Roman. Although Elias really needs that win.
Yeah.
But anyway, Raw Women's Championship. Lacey Evans versus Becky Lynch.
I'll go Becky.
I'm going to go
belts.
Wow. Both going to go with Becky. I mean, we're going with the same, you know.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Whatever. U.S. Championship match, Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. Who do you have?
Joe.
All right, just to make it different, I'm going to go with Rey. I said WWE Championship versus
Yes, I'm looking at
Kofi versus Kofi.
Right.
Kofi versus
Kevin Owens.
KO.
I'll go Kingston.
Yeah, obviously. That's the obvious choice. SmackDown Women's Champion. I'm going to actually go with Charlotte.
I'm going to go with Charlotte.
Because I think
they can't stretch Becky too much no more.
But listen, the whole wild card thing is like...
Still, I don't think they can stretch it on both shows anymore. Becky 2 belts is getting stretched out too far apart, I think.
Yeah.
It's time to let her focus on one brand.
Universal Championship, AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. Seth, why can I say Seth Rollins right now? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Seth.
I'm gonna go with Seth. I think AJ's gonna he's gonna win by DQ basically.
I can see that. Okay. Women's Money in the Bank match.
Mandy Ross, you're related?
I was like, excuse me? You don't see the similarities? Blonde hair?
I'm going to go Amber Moon.
I'm
going to go Amber Moon.
Who I want to win? I am going to go with...
But I can see Mandy, though.
I can see Mandy, too. How often does Face win?
Rare. It's rare.
I'll be an idiot to kind of choose a face, huh?
You thinking Bailey?
Yeah.
Why
are you
like
laughing?
The lowest person. Okay, after Dana Brooke, that's like the.
Why?
Dana Brooke has no momentum right now. They're not gonna give her no momentum right now.
Bailey.
Bailey's not. They're not gonna give.
How is that the lowest person? What do you mean?
I said the second lowest after Dana.
How?
I could see. Okay, maybe not the second lowest.
Listen, I root for Bailey now.
No, I'm all for Bailey.
I'm always for Bailey, but I need someone. You know what I mean?
Something fresh.
Well, not only something fresh because you got to keep the home team.
Yeah.
Boston Hug forever. The She Bible forever.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
No. In all seriousness, I'm just trying to think. Bailey, just because Bailey, Becky, and Charlotte had that little nice, segment a couple of weeks ago, and it was just like,
Her getting her aggression up.
Not even that, but there was momentum there, right? And if you really want to play into that, I would have Bailey win or do something because Bliss can win again. I mean, she's a crowd favorite, so I don't think too many people would hate that, unfortunately. But
Right.
Dana Brooke, like you said, has no momentum. Naomi, she's not gonna win. Natalia's not gonna win. Ember Moon, yeah, maybe, possibly, but she doesn't have momentum, right? Because they didn't make when she came back was like a big surprise.
Right.
So she just came back. Mandy Rose, I can see that. Carmella, she's not winning.
Right.
So
I mean,
I just feel like
maybe Bailey does have a good shot at winning it. I think just like even though Ember Moon doesn't have the momentum, but she has. I feel like she has something that Vince actually likes because she's never even though she doesn't have anything strong pushed, she's always at least in the mix somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is a good moment for them to be like, all right, let Amber do something.
Well, or
different.
Maybe it's and also.
Yeah, but that same argument can happen for Bailey.
Same thing, and to keep it 100, it might be like, listen, like showing Sasha, listen.
We're treating your friends nice.
Right, yeah. You come back. I'm being dead ass, honestly.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? But hopefully she's not that naive like that.
She's not.
We'll talk about it.
We'll get to that.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Men's Money in the Bank.
So you going Bailey?
Yeah, Bailey.
I'm going Andrade.
What?
I'm going Andrade.
For the women's? Wait, so Bailey
No, you said the men's. You said the men's.
You said Bailey.
No, you said Bailey. I said I already had Ember Moon, but you had said men's. Like after.
Oh, so we're moving on.
I was just confirming that you said Bailey for you.
Got it. Okay, men, you're going with Andrade.
Andrade.
I'm going with either Andrade or Sammy.
Can I tell you how stupid it is that
Andrade?
Can I tell you how stupid it is that Finn Balor is in this match?
Yes, because he's the champion, but also Finn. It's see, Money in the Bank is supposed to be the fifth, big pay-per-view, right? So you kind of need your big superstars.
So
Finn
time out. Oh, you don't have that up here.
Mm.
You missing one. The tag team title match.
Oh, was there?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
The Usos versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan.
Okay. Daniel Bryan and this one.
Rowan?
Yeah.
And then...
Which is stupid. Like, okay, aren't they Raw superstars?
But then I'm trying to think of who's the tag team title match is for Raw.
Did they even set one?
I think they did. I'll fact check it.
Whatever. Listen, this is we're both basically checked out. This is just for semantics that we're just putting this here. But
oh man, I check it. My web browser went down. I don't know what happened. So let's move on.
I'll let you lead it off. You got the gear. Hot topics.
Hot topic. It's official. AEW and TNT have announced AEW will be officially coming to. No, they're doing this now again.
Yeah.
Coming to TNT this fall. Cody Rhodes mentioned in his Variety interview that AEW's job isn't to worry about what WWE is doing. Our focus has to be us. Period.
Yeah.
Cody and Brandy Rhodes, Tony Khan, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Hangman, Adam Page. I think
Hangman.
Britt Baker was also among those.
She was
Spotted at the Warner Media up front.
Mm-hmm.
WWE officials feel they are.
They will air.
Tuesday nights based off trademarks such as Tuesday Night Dynamite.
Yes.
I like the fact. So we was talking about it in the group, and it's just. I don't think it's coincidental that they're using flames.
Coincidental.
That is a word.
Okay.
That they're using flames to promote
AEW. I know.
And it's just like
and
it's just
Tuesday Night Dynamite.
Right.
Monday Night Nitro.
Right. Like it's just like it's still a little bit correspondence between a nod to.
Well played, TNT.
So
well played. I'm excited.
A lot of people's excited. I've seen a lot of retweets. I've seen they like, okay, no more T-shirt company.
Mm-hmm. Pro Wrestling Tees posted that, and Kenny posted that. Yeah.
Right, like no more T-shirt company. This is for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be exciting. I guess it's gonna be great competition, even though they're not trying to be direct competition.
But also, Cody had mentioned. I was reading briefly the different quotes. Ultimately, competition is good, right?
Right.
So ultimately, you are going to be competing. You're competing with every company at this particular moment, but.
And also, so they saying that first of all, we announced last week they got the deal with overseas with the UK with ITV. I also saw that they was going to charge $49.99 over here, and people were complaining. How do you feel about that?
Pay-per-view typically costs that, right?
For sports, right? Like sports entertainment,
or just in
like,
general,
like fights and boxing and stuff like that.
Before the WWE network launched, right? What were you doing if you didn't stream it on somewhere? You were buying the pay-per-view,
right?
And at one what was it? WrestleMania and stuff would be like $60-$70, no?
Yeah.
So $50, it's not bad in this day and age. I'm not paying $50, but.
Sidebar. So we missed a couple of things from.
I figured I missed some stuff.
Tony Nese versus Arya Davari on the kickoff show for the Cruiserweight Championship, and the Iconics versus the Kubaki Warriors. Also be happening
on the kickoff show.
I don't know if it's on the kickoff show.
Okay, whatever. It's probably on the kickoff show because they have not hyped that match up at all. But it's prestigious. Anyway.
But yeah, so I don't see why people complaining. Like, to me, it's like, set the bar where you want to be set. Like, I get it. All In last year was like $30. That was because they did it on their own. They wanted to see if they could do it. Now you're about to be on a major platform. You're going to be one of the big boys. You have to charge big boy prices. If you start off $30, like they say Ring of Honor have done, and so on and so forth, when are you going to start charging regular price? You want to start off that way. So that's why Ring of Honor is kind of stuck where they're at now, because they started that way. They try to go up now. People are like, it used to be 30. I'm not trying to do
Well,
that.
not even that. Even if you go up now, but you have to justify increasing the price.
Right.
I would love for them to get creative and see if they can come up with some type of streaming service as well. So maybe down the line, you don't have to pay $50 because ultimately it's 2019, right?
Right.
It's not like it's 1997 where you have to find all the type of ways to see a pay-per-view. Now there's legitimately all types of streaming services that you can catch it for free.
Right.
So now they have to find a way to, you're going to charge that pay-per-view $50, but you have to find a way now, how can we counteract and,
right.
so we can get the revenue from it. But still exciting.
Very exciting.
So rumor has it, Triple H is frustrated backstage. So this is a rumor. However, a caller who is close to WWE writers called into Wade Keller's Pro Wrestling Post Show, and apparently he is extremely frustrated. Triple H, that is. The most frustrated person, and I quote, the most frustrated person in the back every single night is Triple H. He'll always take, especially NXT guys, under his wing. It looks like he's consoling them. It looks so much like he was the most frustrated person in the building every single night.
I can see
I
that.
wouldn't be surprised.
I can see that.
You build, you create something magic, and then just for it instantly get up onto the main roster, and it like fades into,
right,
into
the abyss.
That's basically
the abyss.
Sure.
That was an Infinity War.
According to Wade Keller's Pro Wrestling Post Show again, Vince McMahon and Andrade apparently had a meeting. This is again rumors. Andrade went to Vince.
Not true.
I don't know. I would hope that's not true because that's offensive as hell. But anyway, Andrade wants a legitimate push. Vince responded with, learn some English and get back to me. So I hope that's not rude. I hope that's not rude. I hope that's not real just because it's offensive.
I feel like this is like one of those rumors that were piggybacked off something else that was said, because apparently he said to Eric Rowan when he told him I'm pushing him, the guy that can't make a southern accent. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm starting to see a pattern of people trying to put. So I'm not trying to defend Vince, but I don't think I see that.
That's what I'm saying. That's really offensive.
Right.
1, 2, he's dating the golden girl of the company, so I don't think he's trying to offend him too much. But on the flip side, the past few weeks, we have been seeing Zelina talk and then Andrade talk.
Right.
So like you said, I feel there's a correlation into that sense.
Right.
Maybe he did legitimately say, I want to push, but Vince told him you have to work on your promos.
Yeah, he probably had to say it as harsh as people are making it seem.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I had this discussion on Facebook. Because a lot of, I said this here, like Americans over here, like, if they don't speak English, properly, then they don't deserve a push. But in other promotions, including New Japan Pro Wrestling, people that doesn't speak Japanese are their top, have become their top guy. Like they figure it out. You know, like it either gets translated to them, get translated to us, whatever.
Their
the case
work
may
in
be.
the ring speaks for itself.
Exactly. If you can feel their promo without understanding it, if you can feel what they're doing in the ring, that should be not an issue.
Baron Corbin is the new favorite for the Universal Championship.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
According to Dave Meltzer, Corbin has been picking up wins as of late because he is next in line to face Seth Rollins for the title, which leads into a couple of rumored matches going on with Saudi Arabia. You have Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman, Finn Balor versus Andrade for the Intercontinental Championship match, Kofi Kingston versus KO for the WWE title, Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, and then the whole Undertaker versus Goldberg thing, and the 50-man Battle Royal. And then for Extreme Rules, now you have the Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin match, Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton for the WWE title, AJ versus Drew, Roman versus Shane versus Elias. I am not watching either or.
Between Extreme Rules and
I'm not watching one for obvious reasons for the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view, and Extreme Rules, that's a terrible card. That doesn't excite. Why is Randy Orton in a title match at this point?
See, now it's making me feel the type of way because I was actually planning to go to Extreme Rules because it's supposed to be in Philly. And I'm not trying to spend money on that.
I'm not going to that.
Baron Corbin as Universal Champion for what? This feels like Sheamus all over again.
Yeah.
Just forcing to be somebody as a champion because you like them.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we getting AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre? AJ's gonna be a heel. Mm-hmm. He should be a heel. Handicap match.
It looks like he may not be a heel if that's the case. So whatever. Going back to the whole Kabuki, excuse me.
Kabuki.
I'm gonna say Kabuki Warriors. I didn't actually hear, so I don't know how to pronounce it.
Please forgive us.
Sorry. Paige revealed on Twitter that, like you mentioned earlier, that Asuka and Kairi actually came up with the name. They actually came up with the Kabuki Girls, but then it got changed to Warriors. I think I like Kabuki Girls better.
That would have been dope. I like that one better.
Anyway, Asuka provided some content on what Kabuki actually means. She said it was like Kabuki Mon or something. I was too lazy to type. But ultimately, it's someone who attracts public attention with their eye-catching clothes, peculiar hairstyles, and weird behavior. So I guess when you break it down, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Miss Money in the
Banks.
Banks. Do it.
Boss time!
So smart. Okay, I'll let you lead it off this week.
More than a month has passed since Sasha Banks has been on WWE TV, according to freelance journalist Tom Calhoun.
Sure.
WWE has offered Sasha the world, and she has turned down every offer. Vince McMahon has even offered to make her Miss Money in the Bank.
Oh, you shook your head earlier. You were going to say something.
Yo, Sasha's enjoying her time off.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen her stories. I've seen her Instagrams. I've seen her Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
She's enjoying her time off.
I feel that.
It doesn't seem like she's bothered. She's still training. She's staying ready for whatever I guess she was in her future. But, like, I think she's really, like, over it. Like, I've said this when this first happened. Because this is not the first time we heard that Sasha was not happy, promises made. Not happy, promises made. After a while, promises don't mean nothing no more.
Well, you know what? And not because we touched on this topic, like, the past couple of weeks. You're right. I agree. And when I see that, I'm like, yo, she's really enjoying her time. And you got to think about it. When I was looking at, like her stories or the stuff that she posts, like for example, being in Cali for that long,
right.
Like these superstars don't get to stay in one city or just a state or whatever, or town for just
more than 2 days.
Not even 2 days. Sometimes it's just a quick couple of hours, and then they're off to the next town. So you can't really observe and do what you want to do. She got to travel, and do things that she typically wouldn't be able to do.
She's living it.
Maybe, again, I don't, at this point, I would love to see her back if things change. If not, I'm gonna support regardless. But ultimately, it looks like someone that's at peace with their current decision, and ultimately, you should be at peace with when it comes to your career and your
Right.
livelihood. And someone like you said, broken promises, and you keep saying this, we're gonna do this, and then you don't do this. That messes with your psyche. So I hope all this traveling and just enjoying your time off is just like giving you a sense of like purpose and
Right.
like clearing your head and whatever you want to do it. And like again, I think I can speak for both of us that we applaud the decision. You gotta, take control
I've
of your
quit
life.
without no plan before, because I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just that moment is just like I can't do this anymore.
I mean, how many people quit their jobs and be like, listen, or have an idea that they want to do something and do what's best for them, and it works out. Sometimes
Right.
you got to take chances.
Right.
Whether it's the ultimate plan is to go back to WWE, but making like your actions speak louder than your words,
Right.
type thing, or it's I'm done and I'll sit this one out.
And
You know?
disappear.
I just hope she doesn't sit out for too long though. I don't know. Just it's not because of like
How
for
long was
selfish
how
reasons.
long how long was the whole Neville situation? About like a year and a half.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not for selfish reasons. Like I got to see you on TV. I would love that, but it's just like I don't know what they plan on doing with the contract, because if you're sitting out for that many months, they're gonna be petty and add more months.
Or again, might have a Neville situation where they just like, all right, we'll let you go. Just don't be in the U.S. do U.S. shows for a couple of.
They're not gonna do that with her. Neville, and as great as Neville was or is, they're not gonna do that with her. She's like it's a different. Like they didn't offer Neville the world. They're offering her all these different things. Right?
But this is where Triple H comes in at, because again, this is one of Triple H's girls, and I'm pretty sure he understands her frustrations because he probably feel the same way for her.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is one of those things where, like they said, Triple H spoke to Vince to have Goldust let go.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I feel like this is one of the things like Triple H like, yo, you can't, you gotta, this is another bullet we have to bite because we gonna look crazy.
Well, continuing the theme of women, according I don't have according to whoever, but women.
Yeah, it's according to Wrestling Observer.
Okay, so I do. Women are apparently the blame for poor ratings. They're looking to point the blame at someone for the declining viewership. The women are the ones they're blaming. What do you think?
I think I had a pimple. Sorry. Right here, right?
Nope, I don't see it.
Anyway, of course they're trying to point the figure something. The woman is not your situation. It's not your reason at all. It's the way you booked it is the reason, because you had Charlotte and Becky and Ronda dominate the TV. As much as you love Becky, you had those three dominate your TV for the past 3-4 months to build up the storyline for WrestleMania. And the moment that Ronda went away, you kept Charlotte in the loop. Everybody else lost their momentum. So how can you blame the women when they had nothing to do with it in the first place? The tag team championships, you took away from the people that people wanted to have in the first place. So how are you blaming the women? I'm not understanding this.
And it's not even necessarily losing their momentum. There was no momentum to be had because you're not featuring other women. And we'll discuss it with the whole off-season thing with the Vince McMahon article. But you can't put your eggs all in one basket. So now, ultimately, you have Ronda Rousey that decides she wants to take a break because she wants to start a family, do whatever. You have Sasha Banks who's over it, right? Those are two... I know how you feel about Ronda, but you have two people, quote-unquote, big names that are now removed. Who do you have left? Because you weren't building other people. Now it's just like, yeah, you have Lacey. She does really well with promos, this and that and the third. But is that someone you're going to keep, pushing?
Right.
Or what have you? Who's next? Right? We don't know we haven't even seen Bayley on TV. You realize that, right? She was supposed to have the match last week. And she hasn't been on TV. So it's just like there's no one that you can pass the baton to. No, it wasn't. They did those backstage promo things.
But the money... Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Carmella wasn't on. Like, the SmackDown girls got the Raw girls got the Fatal 4-Way, but the SmackDown girls didn't get anything. Except for Mandy had that match, that tag team match, but ultimately it looks like you're getting ready to book them to be a tag team, not in the Money in the Bank match. Anyway, Lars Sullivan hit with a $100,000 fine, according to Dave Meltzer.
Uncle Dave.
Sponsors complained, and WWE felt that they needed to take action. The fine is a hefty one due to the fact that it's close to what he made in NXT. The fine will probably be taken out in installments, like out of his paycheck.
Yeah, because this whole year, by a year, he gets $300,000 when the numbers came out. So that's a third. That's a third of his salary.
Paycheck, yeah. And if that's not what you're making yearly, right? It's of course over whatever couple of years. It's nothing.
Yeah.
WWE wants to keep him and believes in his potential.
Okay.
Along with the fine, Sullivan has to take sensitivity training, and WWE released a statement saying that they support a culture of inclusion regardless of gender, race, religion, or sexual orientation. So, and also then Tyler Breeze. Titus O'Neil praised Sullivan on Twitter for personally apologizing to the WWE roster. So I thought about this also last week once we discussed the whole thing. And I'm like, this was 6 years ago, right? 9. So I don't know how old he is now, but this is 9 years ago. And I thought about it. I'm like, when I was younger, I didn't say anything crazy like that, but I know I might have said something like, that might the wrong person might be like, take it the wrong way when there's no ill intent around it, right? We all say a lot of crazy things. You'd be lying if you didn't say this about someone or that person, right? And maybe he's not that type of person. I know there's other things that are a little bit questionable,
right?
But I will say that we all have said things on Twitter or social media in general that's questionable, and I think maybe we should just be a little bit more sensitive in regards to stuff like that. I'm so side-eyeing him.
Yeah, and again, whether it was 6 years or 9 years, that's a long time for somebody to grow and understand that they made a mistake.
Correct.
Sometimes people just speak from what they think they know, and then when they get put into certain situations, their minds change.
Right.
When Titus O'Neil put the tweet out, I seen some people say like, "Oh, he's just being a corporate person," blah blah blah. But I don't think Titus O'Neil is that type of person. And two, it wasn't like where he just he put everybody together. Apparently, he approached each person and apologized.
And he didn't necessarily have to do that.
And he didn't have to do that. And I know that we talked about his apology to the public last week, and maybe that's how WWE wanted him to put it out. And because remember, at the end of the day, he has to respond to them. But just hearing that he approached each person backstage and actually apologized for what he said,
I respect that.
I respect that. So maybe he did learn from what he said. Maybe he did speak from misinformation. Or not even so much not knowing, just being young. Like again, there's so many people that honestly after this, I look back at my Twitter from years ago. I have to go do some scrubbing this week.
I promise you, I started deleting mad tweets. I was like, oh, this is first of all, I look stupid. Yeah, I was like, okay, this I gotta delete.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it wasn't that I bash anyone, and there's still stuff that I technically can't even delete because people retweet and comment, so it's just like it's there.
I got the website. I'm gonna cleaning.
But on that note, that you've said things in the past.
Right.
We've all have said things in the past and might not necessarily be with, like I said, ill intent, but when you're younger, you have no filter.
Right.
So, and when you get older and you work for corporate settings and what have you, you learn how to be a little bit more mature.
Right.
With all that said, I do hope that he's learned from this situation and he is a changed man.
Definitely.
But like I said, there's some things that are still a little bit questionable in that sense. So, but I'm gonna back up. Not everyone's perfect.
In an interview with Variety, Vince McMahon addressed the subject of off-season, and his response was, anybody who wants time off can get time off. He then added that it's easy for WWE to weave talent and performers in and out of storylines based upon injuries and family situations.
Bull. Sorry. I was trying to do the BS chants. First of all, the key word here is anybody who wants, well, not the key word, but anybody who wants time off can get time off. Since when? Since when? Because as far as I'm concerned, all these superstars don't get time off unless they're injured. And then...
even when they're injured, they still have to work.
they still have to work, and ultimately that time off when their contract is over, you're adding
them back on.
So, like if anyone's stupid, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to pull a fast one on people, and we're hip to the culture of this company, right?
Yeah.
And it's sickening, you know. It just sounds like an evil boss, like literally Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't like. It feels like he's trying to clean it up. Cause
how is he trying? It's just you trying for the cameras and for the know. You say one thing, but then behind scenes, it's
because going into the next one, because that's how it's apparently.
Well, before you even get into that, and the whole thing about weaving talent and performance in and out, how? Because the same people will be in the same storylines. Again, back in the day, right? You had if like when Stone Cold was that's your biggest star, right? Mm-hmm. Of the Attitude Era, or you feel otherwise, but that's your biggest star of the Attitude Era, right? Mm-hmm. He went down. If they were doing what they're doing now, then WWF or WWE wouldn't have lasted. But you had The Rock there to take that spot. Right. You had Triple H there to have feuds. You had Kurt Angle. We had all these people there to to take over. So that void wasn't not that it wasn't missed, but at least they was filled. And then when Austin came back, then it made things even better.
Right. Because it's like I came out back. And another thing I missed that they did was the journeys. Like, remember the return of Triple H from his double quad? Like, when that video package is showing him every week, trying to get better, then he showed up at Madison Square Garden. Like, that's the biggest ovation that anybody's ever heard.
They ultimately, they're doing that now, like, for example, with Roman.
But they did it because it was for Roman. They didn't do that with Amber Moon. They didn't do that with,
But and I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying, they did that for Roman. They even did that, like, this past week. They did that for Roman on SmackDown and Raw. And then they did that for Seth, like, his journey. But his journey, and then they did it for AJ to hype up the Money in the Bank match.
Right.
But I felt...
I'm talking about, like, in terms of injuries.
No, I get what you're saying, but... My only point is, and I agree, but what I'm saying, now when they do it, like, for example, Roman, it wasn't an injury, but he did have to take a leave of absence due to health reasons. But
before Roman, who did they do it for?
I can't remember.
See?
But my point is, let me finish my damn point. They did it for Roman, but it's not necessary because he's here already. Why do you keep, like, it's a filler, right?
Right.
Like, and I get it. I understand it. I love that he's back and he beat cancer, leukemia, but this is 2 weeks in a row that you do it on Raw, you do it on SmackDown. For what exactly?
Right.
And I feel like it's WWE trying to do this, like, this is what happened, don't boo him, even though we're getting ready to push him, but this is what happened, just to remind you, like,
remember, you're happy he was back.
Exactly. So it's out of place, but I agree, right? There's no, like, there's no hype for most of the superstars.
Right. So according to Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Live, reveals that backstage morale is very poor at the moment. This has been the worst it's been in a while. You could kind of sense it in a way.
Yeah.
It's like we said, the footsteps you're hearing. You hear the footsteps, and now you're like, okay, let's try to fix this up. But then you're hearing adding more time on contracts. You're hearing, no, we're not letting you go. We're hearing people still asking to be released, and they're like, yeah, I'm not letting you go.
So that leads into the question of the night. Well, not necessarily a question, but you're playing the role of creator, or even, like, you're part of, like, corporate. Like, you make these decisions. Like, you completely gut WWE. And how do you fix this problem that seems to get bigger and bigger every week? What do you do with, like, each division, like the tag team division, the women's division, the mid-card, the main event? Like, what do you do? How do you stop the bleeding?
I think you stop the bleeding by, one, I feel like at this point, you have to do certain things differently in terms of, like, making sure we know who the main eventers are. We know who the mid-carders are. We know who the tag team division is. We know.
But we don't.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we have to go back and restructure those.
Exactly.
Like, you have to define, like, people can't be jumping back and forth in between divisions because, I lost the WWE Championship and go after the IC title.
Right.
Like, you have to set those boundaries so people can understand, like, all right, this is who's doing this and who does that. And the same thing is how you build the show, because that's how it used to happen. You start off maybe with Vince McMahon coming out because he was part of the main event. In between, you let the mid-carders rock, and then the main event is come and close it out. There's no reason why the main event should be kicking off the show in a match, and then we seen them again sometime, talking backstage, and then who's going to close out the show? There has to be a defiant role of, this is how it's going to be structured. Women, you get this. This is your block. All right, tag teams. This is what y'all going to be doing. Like, it has to be. That's not happening anymore.
So
it's all over the place.
So let's pick it apart. The tag team division. How do we fix it?
That one it has to be wild card style, because it's not enough teams. You have to let them rock on both SmackDown and Raw at this point, because now you're already doing it. The Usos are challenging for the SmackDown titles, but they're Raw. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So you might as well just break that wall down.
Yeah.
And let that happen. The same thing with the women division, in a way, in my opinion. And at the same time, I think the women should have their own night during the week at this point.
I mean, we've been saying that for the longest, that the women should have their own night.
It's a big roster of women that are not getting any looks.
But see, when you look at the tag team division, right? There's a shortage, but the women, there isn't a shortage.
Right.
The only thing is, with the women, they're missing
opportunities.
Not opportunities. They're missing stars.
Because they're not building them.
Exactly. And I think one way to fix that problem would to have the women have their own night, like you said, and let whatever storylines that are hot go into SmackDown, into Raw.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, when I say women's division, that means the NXT girls too, because those girls could use those rubs, because you could use them as your mid card.
I'm still always on the fence about, in regards to NXT, bringing them up and then having them back and forth on the main roster. I always say, I equate NXT as developmental minor leagues. Once you perfected your craft, then you come up.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is where you get your practice in. When you have, that's what I said, with the women,
you get your practice in NXT.
Yeah, but they record like once in the week, and then they're just on the road, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it worked out. It worked out for the 4 horsewomen and what have you.
Yeah, but this is also helps bring your eyes back to your NXT product, because now you have those eyes, and then you can see who's really ready, because you won't see who stumbles and stuff like that. Like I said, it could be lower card or mid card. Just how New Japan have the Young Lions. The Young Lions will be the first match. They don't have. You know what I'm saying, like, it's a way of just introducing them a little bit by a little bit.
I understand. I still would keep NXT superstars on NXT. I'm trying to figure out how does it work in NXT? Like, when TakeOver approaches, or TakeOver is here, every match seems like a big match.
Because all the titles on online.
No, that's not what I mean. Every match just seems like the energy in the arena is a major match, right? And the same thing with AEW for All In, right? Just every match just seemed like a big match. And then you watch Raw, and then you watch SmackDown, and like these same superstars that were creating big matches in NXT, the matches are falling short on the main roster. Why is that?
Production. Like, the way they have the arena set up alone means a lot.
Yeah.
When TakeOver comes,
yeah,
lights come down on the crowd.
Yeah.
The spotlight is focused on the ring.
And remember, that was the thing with Evolution,
right?
Where they didn't have because of the trucks, because they were going to be in North Carolina or wherever the next night, right? So they didn't have
the big spectaculars.
Exactly. So you're right. I think that's one thing in regards to production. Just the feel of it makes it just seem intimate. Is the word I always use in regards to that.
Because think about it,
and it's the focus on the matches.
Because when you think about it, like when the title's on the line and they shut off the lights on the crowd, spotlight, they introduce them separately, show the title. It makes it feel big.
One of the things I forgot to mention in the hot topics, that apparently they may bring pyro back, for at least for SmackDown. Maybe not for every match or whatever, but for certain big matches or what have you. And I'm like, you should bring it for every match.
Yeah, for everybody.
One, you have the money, so let's not act like you can't do it every night. 2, it just gets people excited. Like, when you go to a Raw or SmackDown and the pyro go off or what have you, or when it used to go off,
Right.
you were pumped like, yo, I'm at Monday Night Raw.
Right.
And then Batista came out or Brock came out with their pyro. You get hype, right? It's just a certain type of feel because it just makes it seem like it's a big match.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that's definitely needed. I think stage sets have to change. I think you have to put more stipulation matches in regards to the main roster. Like let's see a last man standing match on a regular Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I can't see why we can't have that.
It's a lot. It needs to be a whole U-Haul of.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Like, what else? Like, because my thing is in regards to. I agree in the sense of, but back in the day they used to do that with the main event, like the main event stars. They would start off the show and then they would be at the end of the show. So that don't necessarily have a problem with that. But every week it can't be tag team matches. Right. That's draining. That's another thing that they have an issue with.
Yeah, but when the main event came out and kicked it out, they didn't have a match right away from when they was talking. This is what I'm saying. Like, at least every time they come out and they talk, at least one of them having a match right then and there. So then it kills to the end.
I would love for Shane to be a Mr. McMahon because back in the day, right, Shane was just that rich, snobby kid that followed in his father's footsteps, but he was able to do this because he was the owner's son, right? But now ultimately the owner is older, right?
Right.
Now the son has a little bit more control, right?
Right.
I would love to see Shane play that antagonist, just like really, like he's kind of doing that right now with the Miz and Roman.
He gotta throw on a suit.
He has to throw on a suit, I think, and I think he has to like really make their lives a living hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing where they missed the ball with Becky. You should have been there as the authority or whatever, just really
Stephanie. Yeah,
and just really making it hard for Becky to overcome this, to overcome that.
Right.
I think when you do that, then you can get behind that person because you can relate to like, yeah, I know this one boss at my job that always, giving me a hard time.
Right.
And finally I got to stick it to them.
Right.
I think that's another thing that's missing. Like
storylines.
Yeah, and like the wild card thing, it just what did we say would happen last week? Ultimately, you were just going to throw the same people
over and over,
and there's really no storyline outside of that.
Right.
How would you change backstage though, like the morale?
The reason morale is down is people feel like they're not being used like they should be. Give them a little bit.
There's a whole lot of.
Give them a little bit more control of their characters. I'll say that. I'll say give them some time. Find a way to schedule some time off for some people that may be tired right now.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way to build some people that not doing anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like make them feel important. Make them feel like they have a purpose. That's the way you can build morale. Like don't make it seem like we'll just focus on these people. We'll get to you when we get to you. That's how Luke Harper felt because nobody even knew that he was off the injury list.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the same thing with Ember, right? We didn't know until we saw her in the Battle Royal.
And that goes back to the video package. Make people feel special about coming back.
Yeah.
Build them up like, yo, this person's coming back.
Yeah.
Even if they do 1 or 2 matches and then you try to figure out a storyline later on for them. Make them feel important.
And when it comes down to it, too, like, yo, stop calling people up from NXT. If you literally don't know how to utilize them, there's no reason why. For example, what came to mind, Shinsuke. Shinsuke was a god in NXT, right?
Everywhere.
But I mean in WWE.
Yeah.
He was a god, and then, right? You know what I mean? So when we came up, the singing of the music and everything.
Won the Royal Rumble, nice momentum, and then dropped it.
And then again with the women, it's the same thing over and over. Like this is, we went from Evolution, we went from the Give Divas a Chance, the women's, Revolution, Evolution, and what have you, and now we're going back to 2-minute matches. You know, and ultimately, I think whoever's in executive positions needs to go.
In terms of who?
Like all the yes men, like Dunn and all of them.
Yeah.
You're out of touch.
Yeah, it needs a little bit more fresh eyes on the product.
And diversity. And again, just hire people that know the product.
Right.
And not necessarily know the product like they're
audience.
80, 50, 60, 70 years old. They have people who are young and not, you know what I mean? Like
marked out,
exactly. And know how to write, or come up pitch really good ideas and stick to those ideas.
They had somebody like Kaz and they let Kaz go. I don't know why they let Kaz go. And he was doing some of the good stuff with Leo Rush, doing some good stuff with New Day. Like a lot of the segments we seen, he had a hand in, and then I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I one of the things I do agree that the superstars should have more control of their characters,
who they are,
and then go from there, because it just comes off more authentic. Prime example, Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
He hasn't actually came back, but the promo is just
everybody's ready for him.
Exactly.
Everybody's ready for him.
Yeah. I mean, we came up with a couple ideas, but it's still.
Feel free to steal them. Just throw me a little check.
I mean, it's
send
still
me like 10%.
It's still all over the place.
Send me a stock or two.
Okay. Yeah, and then the whole thing with the titles, like, I always felt it's a pecking order. You start, you become, you get on the main roster. Like, for example, someone like Lars Sullivan, right? You're gonna ultimately put him eventually in the heavyweight, title picture. When ultimately, if you're new onto the roster, you should get
IC or US.
Just because you're big doesn't mean you need to have the main title, because that's how you follow the footsteps of someone's career and you grow with them.
Right.
Anyway.
That's the show?
I think that's the show. I'm burnt out by this company.
If you'd like to buy some WWE merch, they got some new summer things coming out. They got the 4th of July t-shirts right now. Head over to the WWE shop, click the link in our bio at the Mixed Tag Show.
You know what?
Personal
July 4th is next to a certain day. Huh?
Really?
A couple days after,
50 Cent's birthday, right? 50 Cent was born on 4th of July, son, because, Get Rich or Die Trying.
No, I think
and it was like fireworks.
His birthday, I think, is July 6th.
Oh.
And then I think Kevin Hart's July 4th.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, cancers.
All right. Click on our link in our bios at the Mixed Tag Show, on our personal at
Miss Jenna Baby, BAYBEE.
Or at Blue Magic Grind, spelled how it sound. Don't forget to head and click the link in the bio in our YouTube for that as well. Make sure you head over to Collar and Elbow and use our code name TMTS, which stands for
The Talking Must Take Over.
That's not an S.
The talking must stop.
You missed the T.
The talking must then stop.
Talking must then stop. No duh. There you go.
Talking must then
stop.
Talking must the stop.
Must then stop. Okay. Anyway, and on that note, we bid you adieu.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Mwah. And good night.
Bang.
Bang, bang.
It's the Mixed Tag Show. The Mixed Tag Show. With Jenna and Blue. Damn.
Hey, did you like this episode? Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share this with your friends. Also, follow us on our social media at The Mixed Tag Show.